Denver's boom isn't in the city, it's actually out in the suburbs. Over the past, let's say 15 years, there's been 5 areas that have exploded with growth. One of them up more than 80% since 2010, with even more predicted growth on the way. Now today I'm gonna show you where families, jobs, and big developments are heading. And after helping families buy here for over a decade, I'm about to reveal which 5 suburbs could actually be your smartest move. Let me start with Brighton. Now, if you haven't been here lately, you might not even know it anymore. Brighton is actually the most accessible entry point into Denver's booming housing market. It's giving new home buyers that rare mix of affordability and growth potential. It's actually just about 20 minutes from downtown Denver and the airport. It sits perfectly in what they call the Colorado Aerotropolis development zone. Now, let's take a look at some numbers. Brighton grew from about 30-some thousand people in 2010 to almost 44,000 in 2025. That's almost a 32% jump, which is pretty impressive. And that's because Brighton offers that really good mix of location, affordability, and a community that families are really looking for. Now you're asking, like, what's driving all this growth? So I want to break it down for you. First, Brighton gives you something that's really getting harder to find in Denver, and that's affordable housing. With median home prices around a little over 500,000, like 502,000, it's much more accessible than a lot of the other Denver suburbs. $500,000 might sound like a lot, but compared to other areas that we're going to talk about today, it's actually really a bargain for new home buyers. One thing really great about Brighton is the Brighton Crossings development. It's a 800+ acre master plan community that is truly one of the most established and amenity-rich developments here in the Denver metro area. The community has 2 fitness centers, over 10,000 square feet of space, an award-winning venture center. It's got a water park, 9 neighborhood parks, really great, including a massive 2.5 acre dog park for all you doggy parents. But look, what more could you ask for? Brighton Crossings really kind of sets the standard for what a well-designed community should offer in this area. Now, another thing that I think makes Brighton special is its location, is what they're calling the Platinum Triangle that is rapidly developing around Denver International Airport. This spot has attracted a bunch of major employers. It's got a whole bunch of infrastructure investment, and the city here is seeing a ton of new development. It's got several major projects approved just this year. Brighton is attracting a whole bunch of young families and young homeowners. The median age only about 34 years, which tells us it's attracting many young professionals, with over 61% of the residents in prime working age. The city's access to major roads like I-76 and US Highway 85 gives you some really great commute options compared to, of course, the congested I-25 and I-70 routes serving some of those other Denver suburbs. So here's the bottom line on Brighton. If you are a first-time home buyer or someone that's looking for value without giving up location, I think Brighton offers one of the best deals in Denver Metro. Up here, your dollar simply goes a little further while still keeping you connected to everything the region has to offer. But that's just the beginning of our story. Let's head northwest to a suburb that's taking a completely different approach to growth, and that's Broomfield. Broomfield sits in this really sweet spot between Denver and Boulder. It's what's becoming Colorado's answer to Silicon Valley. The community has turned really into a major tech employment hub, and that attracts companies that really want to be close to both Denver and Boulder's innovation scene. Let's go ahead and check out the numbers. Boulder grew from about 56,000 residents in 2010 to an estimated 78,000 here in 2025. That's almost a 40% increase, which is big growth for an already established area. And what's driving this growth is really quite different from what we're seeing up there in Brighton. The area hosts about 3,000 technology jobs across companies that you may have heard of, like Broadcom, Quantinuum, and a couple other various aerospace firms. Major employers, including ones like Broadcom, working on things like network technology, Quantinuum with 370 plus scientists and engineers in quantum computing, so really high-tech stuff. Aerospace and other aerospace companies, plus there's a ton of other Fortune 500 companies that have regional offices up there in Broomfield. One of the biggest moves in Broomfield's development is this company called Raven Space Systems. And they're setting up their headquarters up there. It's going to create almost 400 high-paying jobs with yearly wages above $130,000, so really good for the area. This aerospace company specializes in 3D printing for aerospace, really cool stuff. And it shows Colorado's growing position in the space industry. Now, this kind of job growth, of course, is driving housing demand across all the 5 suburbs that we're covering today, and also will play a huge role in how I recommend you think about which of these suburbs is right for your situation later. Now, let's talk about housing. Broomfield's housing market shows good, steady appreciation. Current data shows homes selling at a median price of about $623,000. And of course, there's some luxury neighborhoods hitting, way above that $800,000 mark. And the market here stays really competitive, with homes typically selling before that 30-day mark, showing that there is still, good buyer demand up here. What makes Broomfield stand out is its strong economic foundation. The median household income here is over $120,000, which of course supports Broomfield's premium housing market and helps ensure that long-term property value stability that you want to look for. Now, Broomfield also benefits from great infrastructure and services, since it's both a city and a county. The community gives you direct access to outdoor recreation in the Rocky Mountain foothills, while still having, some great urban amenities and services. Now, Broomfield's central location provides that easy access to Denver International Airport and, that really cool cultural scene up there in Boulder. So here's the deal with Broomfield. If you are big into tech, aerospace, or any of those high-skill industries, Broomfield does offer a premium lifestyle with great jobs, outdoor recreation, and those urban amenities nearby. And the premium price point up there makes sense given the quality and economic opportunity, making it an excellent long-term investment for the right buyer. Now, let me introduce myself if you're new here. I'm Gary Bradler, your local Denver guide. I live and breathe this market every day, helping both buyers and sellers make smart moves in these fast-growing communities. Now, if you want more videos like this one breaking down where the best opportunities are in Denver, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. I post new content every week with the kind of on-the-ground insights you can only get from someone who's in these neighborhoods daily. This leads us to our next suburb, which is taking a completely different approach by focusing on families, and that's Parker. While Broomfield seems to be really attracting a lot of those tech professionals, Parker has established itself as the premier family-oriented suburb in the Denver metro. It combines really excellent schools, newer construction, and a great location in the prosperous southeast corridor. Let's look at some numbers. Parker has grown from about 45,000 residents back in 2010 to an estimated 68,000 here in 2025. That's almost a 52% increase, making it one of the fastest growing suburbs in the entire region. Now, what's really interesting about Parker is that it's leading all 5 suburbs in growth rate at about 4.1% annually. So what is driving this crazy growth in Parker? Well, it's located here in Douglas County, which is Colorado's wealthiest county, with a median household income of about $145,000. Douglas County ranks number 1 among all Colorado counties for household income, with nearly 30% of households earning above that $200,000 mark. Now, this economic foundation supports Parker's, premium housing market, and it ensures the long-term property value stability. Parker's housing market shows remarkable resilience, with median home prices ranging from $650,000 to $720,000, depending on which neighborhood you're looking at. One thing really great about Parker right now is that they're investing heavily in downtown development, and that's one thing that makes Parker so great. And it's this massive development project. They call it My Main Street. And to give you some details, it's a $310 million project that will double the size of downtown Parker. Now, this development includes over 155,000 square feet of new commercial space, 530 new homes, 7 new restaurants are slated to be in there, 1,000 parking spots to make sure there's parking for all of it. And now this investment is really impressive, but it's actually kind of small compared to the multi-billion-dollar Dawson Trails project that we're going to explore when we get to Castle Rock. Construction on this just began here in October, coming after 20 years of planning for it. Now, Parker's commitment to revitalizing the downtown area shows how serious they are about creating a true community center for all of our residents. And the Parker area is part of the Douglas County School District number RE1. They are ranked number 6 overall for athletics, number 11th overall among all Colorado school districts. So really great for education. Now, Parker also benefits from excellent regional connectivity, as it's part of the South I-25 corridor, which of course is one of Denver's most successful business areas outside of downtown. So if you're a family looking for newer construction, top-rated schools, and a community designed with families in mind, I really think that Parker should be at the top of your list. The premium price point here makes sense when you consider the quality of the schools here, the newer housing inventory, and the family-friendly amenities all throughout the community. But before we get to our fastest growing suburb, let me tell you about a hidden gem that many buyers are actually overlooking, and that's Commerce City. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You might be surprised to see Commerce City on this list, but it does represent one of Denver's most dramatic transformation stories. The place is evolving from a really industrial area into a major residential and commercial hub. And the numbers are actually pretty amazing. Commerce City's population grew from, I think it was about 46,000 in 2010 to an estimated 71,000 in 2025. That's over a 56% increase, making it the second fastest growing suburb on our list today. And there are several key factors driving this growth. Now, the city's location near DIA, I think, has positioned it as a key player in I mentioned earlier, the Aerotropolis Development Initiative. Commerce City serves as a central component of the Colorado Aerotropolis, and they're marketing as that. It's a team effort between 8 partners, including Adams County, Aurora, Brighton, Denver, and the Denver airport, of course, to develop thousands of acres around DIA. Now, this initiative is targeting advanced manufacturing and aerospace companies, logistics companies, distribution centers, aviation technology firms, clean energy and renewable technology businesses. The area benefits from a foreign trade zone designation, offering streamlined customs and tax benefits for businesses. For example, Southwest Airlines recently opened a 23,000 square foot training facility in the area, with options to expand by an additional 12,000 square feet. What's really great about Commerce City is that while it's growing rapidly, it still remains one of the more accessible options here in the Denver metro area. The median home price is actually only around $515,000, which is significantly lower than in Parker or Broomfield. Now, Commerce City is also experiencing unprecedented development activity. There's tons of new housing complexes and commercial spaces being built throughout the area. So if you're really looking for value and growth potential, particularly if you work in the logistics, manufacturing, or at the airport. Now, I think the transformation, of Commerce City, just from what was an industrial area to one now that represents one of Metro Denver's most significant growth stories, I think is amazing. So as that continued expansion continues to grow, as the Aerotropolis initiatives mature, I think it's awesome. Now, for the grand finale, the suburb that's outpacing all of the other suburbs in Denver, let's talk about Castle Rock. Now, Castle Rock is leading Denver's suburban boom with the most explosive growth among all of the major suburbs, nearly doubling in size over the last 15 years. Now, the town's growth story centers around really massive development projects that have reshaped Douglas County's landscape over the last decade. The population here has grown from just about 48,000 in 2010 to what I read is an estimated 86,000 in 2025. That's an incredible 80% increase, making it the fastest growing suburb in the Denver metro area, topping our list. Town's current population of approximately 87,000 represents just over 57% of its planned build-out capacity. Now, with plans already supporting growth to about 140,000 residents, Castle Rock has significant room to grow. So what is driving Castle Rock's growth? The centerpiece is, as I mentioned earlier, Dawson Trails, a nearly 2,000-acre master planned development that represents one of Colorado's largest residential projects. Now, it was approved by Douglas County back in 2022, and the development includes close to 6,000 approved housing units, including just a mix of townhomes, single-family units, and condos, with the first neighborhood approved for about 230 single-family homes with almost 15 acres of open space. Now, what's also exciting is the commercial development plan alongside this residential growth. Now, Dawson Trails will include about 3.2 million square feet of commercial space. It's gonna have a medical campus, healthcare facilities. It's gonna have a bunch of retail and dining establishments. It's gonna have some light industrial and office space as well. Now, this development is gonna be anchored by a new Crystal Valley Parkway and I-25 interchange that's gonna open about in spring of 27. Now, with Dawson Trails Boulevard providing 3 miles of I-25 frontage, Castle Rock's Town Council approved some plans for a 160,000 square foot Costco, also big place, 886 parking spaces. It's gonna have a 16 pump fuel station, and that store is gonna open right within that Crystal Valley interchange in 2027. And it's gonna serve as that commercial anchor for that Dawson Trails area. Now, that Costco location represents strategic planning with traffic flow optimized so it doesn't, get super congested. It's gonna provide, good space for that fuel center. Now, that store will bring approximately 300 jobs, and it's gonna bring significant sales and tax revenue to Castle Rock, which is a big plus. Now, beyond just that new development, the city is also investing heavily into its historic downtown core, and that's what makes Castle Rock so unique. And there's multiple redevelopment projects going on down here. One of the notable ones is what's called the Brickyard. Now, it's a mixed-use development. It's going to include about 150,000 square foot recreation center. They're also going to do a restoration of the City Hotel, that 1872 hotel, into a boutique hotel, 33 rooms, have a rooftop bar. They've also completed the $64 million Riverwalk project right down Wilcox Street, which is great. Now, talking some numbers, the current median price in Castle Rock is about $640,000. So it means you're getting a really premium lifestyle at a really reasonable price. Now, Castle Rock is offering one of the most ambitious development stories here in Metro Denver. And that combination of the historic downtown charm, the modern amenities, and all of this massive planned development is creating a really unique opportunity for home buyers and investors alike to get in before all that takes the prices up. Now that we've covered all 5 of those booming suburbs, you might be wondering, well, which one is right for you? So let me break it down a little bit. For pure investment potential, Castle Rock leads with a massive 79% growth since 2010. All those retail anchors moving in, and they have incredible momentum on their side. But here's something interesting. Commerce City, I think, might actually offer better percentage gains since it's earlier in its growth cycle and could be a real insider opportunity. Now, Broomfield stands as our premium market with all those tech jobs I mentioned, really excellent schools, and that great access to Boulder. Now, you're paying for quality of life here, not just future appreciation, but it is the safe bet with a solid foundation for gains. And make sure you don't overlook Brighton and Commerce City as your value play in that low to mid $500 mark. Brighton has that accessibility advantage for first-time buyers, while Commerce City is exploding with population growth and huge infrastructure investments. So if we break this down by budget, $350,000 to $500,000 gets you into Brighton or Commerce City, and it gets you new construction with good square footage. $500,000 to $650,000 puts you around Parker or Castle Rock's entry points. And that becomes the sweet spot for large new homes in those quality neighborhoods. And then if you want to be in that $650,000 plus range, Broomfield and the premium Castle Rock communities are going to be your playground with amazing amenities. Now, my best overall value for families would be Brighton with its really great master plan communities, all the new construction going on up there, solid income levels, and really great reasonable prices. But I'm betting Commerce City with its affordability, the population surge, and all the investments that they are doing for infrastructure. Also, Castle Rock, I would throw in that there as well, just because the population is growing significantly in that area. The Denver Metro story isn't about what's coming, but it's also about what's happening right now in real time. So if you are ready to capitalize on these shifts before the best opportunities disappear, let's talk strategy. My team and I have helped tons of clients just like you navigate these exact market dynamics this year alone. So make sure you reach out now. All my contact information is in that description box below, and we can talk about your specific situation. Now, here's the thing. Knowing the market is growing means nothing if you pick the wrong neighborhood. That's why you need to watch this next video where I break down every single Denver area so you don't make a $100,000 mistake. So click here to see which neighborhoods to avoid and which ones are absolute gold mines right now. So until next time, see you in the neighborhoods.